My next guest right here on the Rich Eisen Show. He's a guy who I first heard, to be very honest with you, Eric Stonestreet of Modern Family, big K-State guy. He's like, look out for this guy in Seattle. When they drafted him, before the draft, he told me, look out for him. Seahawks drafted him, and he has been stellar, absolutely stellar in now his 5th season with the Seahawks. He's got a debut collection of original poetry that's available wherever books are sold, available starting today, called Reflection. Tyler Lockett joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Tyler?
Man, I'm doing real good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. 5-1, Tyler. I mean, what has it been like so far, first 6 weeks of the season, football-wise?
I think we've been playing phenomenal. I think the biggest thing is we know that we're not even near our best. The way that we practice is the way that we're starting to play on the field, and I think everybody's starting to see it. We've been in a whole lot of close games, which gives us the ability to find out how good we are to be able to stay poised and how to come out with those victories. And I think those are the things that we've been doing. And it just kind of shows that the way that we work, the way that we connect on the field and off the field is really showing on the field.
Well, how have you connected with Russell Wilson? Walk me through this relationship.
I think the biggest thing is when you're playing in a league or when you're playing football in general, you just got to understand who your quarterback is. You got to understand every asset that he possesses and everything that he does great at. And so for me, like, even when I'm working out in the off season or even when I'm getting ready for camp, I'm putting myself in a situation to do the things that I know that Russell can do. And so I might not do the same stuff that receivers do in the off season, and that's okay because I know my quarterback. So when we get into routines and we get into camp practices and stuff like that, I already, have that connection with him because I know what he's doing. I know what he's looking for on certain types of plays. And it just helps that I can put myself in positions to stay alive whenever he needs me.
Well, that's a perfect way to put it, Tyler, because that was a question I wanted to ask you, Tyler Lockett, here on the Rich Eisen Show. You hear so many times that it's difficult for receivers to keep running routes or keep running around or keep a play alive with a quarterback that runs or scrambles as much as Russell Wilson does. And that play in the corner of the end zone against the Los Angeles Rams a couple of Thursday nights ago where Wilson just kept the play alive, throwing the ball against the grain of his body, going seemingly a little bit backwards as well to find you in a sliver of the end zone. I gave up on the play. I mean, walk me through that one, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams did a great job being able to cover the whole play up. And when you got a quarterback like Russell Wilson, the play is never over. And so when he started scrambling to the left, luckily I was over here on the left side, and the DB's jersey, his back was turned to Russell. And so if Russ ever sees that, he might give us a chance and just throw it up in the air. And, he makes a lot of those visual type of throws, even though he might not actually practice them. And so the way that he threw it to where only I could really catch it. And so I had to kind of shield my guy off. A lot of times I'm not going to just try to go jump ball with everybody. So I shield myself off from the defender to where only I can make a play on the ball. So either I drop it or I don't. And, luckily I'm short enough to still keep my feet in while I'm trying to reach up for the ball.
And this past week, Tyler, against the Browns after the game, Russell Wilson in a crucial third quarter drive said his helmet went out. Did you know that at the time?
No, I mean, because everybody's kind of in their own mindset, in their own mode when the game is coming on. But I know that they gave him a new helmet, so I figured something had to happen.
So as he's calling plays, you're just assuming it's coming in. He didn't say at one point, "Hey, I've got nothing. Let me handle it here." He never voiced that in the huddle.
No, I mean, there's times where, Russ might see something and he starts kind of like calling stuff if we do quick game or whatever the case is. Him and Shotty have a great relationship to where they understand like each other and they know kind of like the feel of the game and how the flow is going, and so they base stuff off of that. So regardless of, who's doing what, we trust that each person is going to put us in the best position possible, and that just comes with the type of relationship. And so when we went out there, we just stayed true to the game plan, stayed true to a lot of things, and because the helmet or the voice thing might have went out in the third quarter, or if that was the case, we already had a feel of what they do, so we knew what plays to put us in that put us in a great position.
Well, so many fans, Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks here on the Rich Eisen Show. Again, we'll talk about his new debut collection of original poetry called Reflection that's available where books are sold today. So many fans are talking about the officiating right now. Are you guys talking about NFL officiating in your locker room?
No, not really. I know a lot of people have been talking about it since last game, but honestly, since yesterday's game, but I didn't really watch the game. Just kind of preparing myself to get ready for what's coming today. But obviously, I kind of heard about a lot of the stuff that's happened, and everybody has their own opinions about it and stuff. And, I think my thing is the game is, always going to be based off of human error. And, there's going to be a lot of great decisions made, a lot of good calls made, let me say that. And there's going to be a lot of bad calls made. But at the end of the day, it's always been like that, and that's kind of what makes the game great. When you look at basketball, when you look at football, I think, sometimes it hurts in pivotal moments, because human error becomes magnified, especially in playoffs. And so it's kind of like in some situations, it works out. In other situations, it doesn't. But I just think it's hard to try to figure out ways to remove human error, because if you do that, then every play is going to be reviewed, because there's always going to be a foul, in basketball. There's always going to be a flag in football. And so it's just, kind of trying to pick which moments do we allow human error to be right and when we allow human error to be wrong.
So would you be in favor of scrapping instant replay for pass interference, Tyler?
Honestly, I don't really think that, that's really been a big deal. I think I haven't really watched a lot of other games, but I think they've been doing a good job in calling that and going back and reviewing it. But, there's times where, people, they want to see a good game and the team might be in a really good flow, of the game. And then all of a sudden, we got to keep going and review stuff to make sure that we got it right. I don't think that there's anything that we could ever do to make sure everything is right. I just think sometimes you just got to rely on, everybody that's out there, and they just kind of make a decision and go with it. But whatever decision they go with it, it's not going to work out for one team.
Are you saying that because you actually were involved in one of those rare instances where pass interference went successfully challenged, Tyler?
Yeah, but when we played the Rams, we challenged it and it didn't work out in our favor.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, like I said, every single play you could call holding. Every single play you can call like illegal illegal touching, because, a DB can't touch a receiver at the 5 yards. There's a lot of things that you could call every single play, but that doesn't mean that every penalty should be called. And, I'm not a ref, and, I know that they have a lot to look at. They told us all the things that they have to look at and stuff during the whole entire game. And so, it's just a hard situation and a hard position to be put in, because no matter what happens, all eyes is going to be on them if it's not called the way that it should be called. But, that's just kind of how life is.
Tyler Lockett joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show, team leader in receptions and receiving yards this season for a quarterback that is playing MVP football. Tyler Lockett here on the Rich Eisen Show. Why write some poetry and put it in a book and put so much personal information about yourself out there, Tyler?
Me personally, I love writing poetry. Spoken word poetry is something that I've done since I was a senior in high school. And, the reason why I love it so much is because when you have a conversation with somebody, everybody wants to be able to put their opinions out there. So everybody goes back and forth with arguing and stuff like that. And you never get your point across. But the thing about spoken word is when you go up there and perform, everybody literally has to sit there and listen. They have no choice but to understand your thoughts, understand where you're coming from, how you feel. And the truth is, spoken word poetry is kind of like just you writing down your thoughts in a journal. It doesn't even have to rhyme. You can make it be whatever you want it to be. And doing that allows you to be more free, allows you to be able to play more. And for me, I use it for my faith, and I use it to bring hope and inspiration and just talk about real life situations that people are scared to talk about. But, behind closed doors, these are things that they're dealing with every single day. And so, yeah, it might be some stuff in there that's about me, some stuff in there that's about people that I know that's going through stuff. And instead of me saying it's people, I put myself in that position, because the best way to help somebody is not pointing a finger and talking about somebody else, but just being able to share your own scars and your own experiences. And that way, if they relate, then it makes it all the more better.
So what's the most difficult thing that you're proud of sharing in this book? Reflection.
You said, what's the most difficult thing?
Yeah, that for you that you said, you know what, I'm going to put it out there.
I think the best thing that I've shared was, I got a poem in there called "The Monster I Created," and there was nothing in this life that I can honestly say that could defeat me, or that I would allow to put myself in a position to remove me from the purpose that I believe I was called to do in this life. And what I started realizing was my own imagination became the monster. Because, when you start having a little bit of anxiety and all these different types of things, it starts to kind of bother you to where now you start putting yourself in a place where you created the very monster that could defeat you in this life. And so I talked about that. I talked about how the monster tried to control me, and it was like the very strength that got me to the place that got me was the very thing that I couldn't lean on anymore. And the weaknesses I never paid attention to in life because I was always focusing on my strengths, those were the things that I had to hold on to. And so, when you deal with traumas and you're strong-minded, that's the worst thing that can happen to somebody because literally you overanalyze. You literally go through the whole story over and over and over until you can really feel as if you know the reason why it happened, when the truth is, it's already right in front of you. You just keep overanalyzing the whole situation, and now you can't get it out of your head. So now it's like you're allowing yourself to be the very monster that could defeat you. And so I learned how to beat that. And I think that's one of the best things that I could talk about because, everybody talks about mental health. They talk about all these things that bother them, that make them the way that they are. And the thing is, once you understand your triggers and you understand why things make you act or become the way that you are, then that monster is already defeated, and there's nothing else that could defeat you because you know yourself.
And that's all in one poem.
Yeah.
It's amazing. That's amazing, man. Good for you, Tyler Lockett. Reflection available starting today. Debut collection of original poetry available wherever books are sold. So, you guys talking Super Bowl openly? Flat out?
Nah, we talking Baltimore right now. We focus on one game at a time, but the best thing about the way that Pete shapes our minds is every game is a Super Bowl. So that way, if you make it, it doesn't become a surprise. Everybody, when you get to the playoffs, people try to go harder. They make the game more serious. But this is how the game should be every single game. And that's how we approach it. When you approach every game like a Super Bowl, you approach it as if it's the last game that you'll ever play. You got to wait 8 more months until you can play again. And just being able to have that mindset allows us to do whatever it is that we need to do. We put our bodies on the line. We sacrifice what we need to sacrifice in order to help our guys win. And that's what it's all about. And I think when you watch our games, that's what you see. You see guys out there having fun. You see guys out there cheering one another on. You see the relationships that we have on and off the field. And that's what allows us to build this type of advantage over teams, because to us it's just football. We're not worried about all the stuff that comes with it. We're not worried about all that type of stuff. We have a tight-knit group that, opens up to each other, and that's what allows us to really be successful.
Well, when you have a minute with Pete Carroll, just, ask him about Coach Harbaugh of the Ravens' brother and the battles they used to have in college. And it's always interesting when a Harbaugh gets together with Pete Carroll. He'll tell you a couple stories if you don't know them already.
I'm sure he'll probably tell us a couple of them, but if not, I'll try to ask.
They'll make a great poem. It'll make a great poem. It'll be called "What's Your Deal, Bro?" That's what it'll be called.
Oh, well,
okay.
I think that's something that you got to make.
Okay, it's called "What's Your Deal, Bro?" Tell him that you want to write a poem about that, and for him to fill in the information, Tyler. Okay.
All right.
I just want to leave you with that. Hey, congratulations on this. I can't wait to read some of it, and I hope this is the first of many times that we have a conversation on this show.
Yes, sir. Well, let me know what you think once you read some of it.
I will. Absolutely. Thanks again, Tyler. Well, I'll be in touch.
All right, have a good one.
You got it. That's Tyler Lockett at TD Lockett with 2 T's 12 on both Twitter and Instagram.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.